Alright, today we're going to be analyzing a 400 IM from the Senior State Championships this past March. On the block in lane 3 is the boy we're going to be looking at. So let's get into the race. Pretty decent reaction time there, and he got into some nice quick dolphin kicks right away. Here he is right here, breathing every stroke on fly. It's not something that we would recommend our younger swimmers to do, but some of our older swimmers have found that it helps them stay in rhythm a little bit better. He's got a pretty strong kick for the beginning of a 400 IM, but it seems to be working well for him. A little bit slow in and out of that wall. We're going to look at turn time when we get to the metrics. I would say he's probably climbing on his breath just a little bit too much. His head is going up instead of forward as he breathes. And breathing off that breakout, it's even more prominent. Really dove into that turn there. He probably could have used another stroke, and he may have had to pick up his tempo a little bit to do it, but I think it would have been more effective. He's got a little bit of bounce on this backstroke. You can see his body going up and down just a little bit. He came over the top and he stared at the wall as he was coming into that flip. We'd like to see him tuck his chin right away there. Very shallow pull with that right hand. You can see here his hand is kind of popping out of the water. You can see that white water as he's pulling with his right hand. We want to get that hand a little bit deeper so we're pulling clean water. Good dolphin kicks there. But he's lifting his head on his breakout. You can see his chin is very tucked on his chest here. We want to get that head back a little bit more so we can get the toes up. Same idea on the flip there. He's staring at the wall. We got to tuck that chin right away. Okay, get the head back. We got to pick up tempo a little bit more now. He's got a very long backstroke tempo. We got to push tempo into an IM. And again, get those deeper hands. Really long on that turn there. I'd prefer to see a crossover turn. You lose a little bit on the breath, and he is a good breaststroker, but I think you get a little bit better just turn time. But he didn't want to sacrifice the pullout. He had a good pullout there. He got a lot out of it. A little shallow with the feet there on that pullout, though. We want to get a little bit deeper. He's circle swimming on this race. You can see him on that angle. He's kind of up against that right lane line. He seems to be circle swimming the way you would in practice. I'd like to see him work his open turns a little bit quicker. He's got to get that right hand off the wall faster. Seems to be maybe using those turns a little bit as an opportunity to breathe. We want to take quick breaths and get in and out of the wall quickly. Like I said, very good breaststroker. We just went from pretty much last to now leading this heat here. Okay, really getting nice extension on this last length of breaststroke. He's got some nice high hips. Really grabbing water well out in front. Only one dolphin kick there. You know, I don't mind going 5 yards off the wall in a freestyle race, but if we're going to go 5 yards off the wall, let's not float and take one dolphin kick. Let's take 2 or 3. Not as bad as his backstroke turns, but he's still kind of pausing going into his flips. We'd like to see him tuck his chin right away. Getting over the top with the stroke really well, but he seems to be short on his breath. Yep, there it is there. We'll see if we can get a better look at it. You can see this right arm as he's breathing is pulling under his body instead of staying out in front. Okay, he's really shorting himself up. Let's back that up just a little bit so we can look at it again. Okay, right here. Okay, his face is out of the water. His left hand is straight over the top. His right hand is already under his body. It should be extended out here still. Okay, we want to stay tall. Right now, he's only 6 feet tall. He could be 7.5, 8 feet tall if he just keeps that arm straight out this way, reaching towards the wall until he's ready to finish his breath and rotate to the other side. That way, our arms and hips are connected. Okay, right now he used all arm on that pull, and now he's got nothing moving him forward right here. except for his legs. Okay, we want to wait on that pull just a little bit longer until we're ready to start rotating to the other side. Kind of looking at that wall going into the flip. Okay. You can tell he's digging hard here. He wants to get to the wall. Okay, finish this race hard. He picked up the legs a little bit more. Kept the head down into the finish. Okay, pulled the head a little bit though that last stroke. Okay, he kept his head down the last 5 yards. Let's take a look at it again. Kept his head down that last 5 yards and stopped breathing. That was that's his last breath right there. But now he's pulling his head before his hand hits the wall. Okay, you got to keep that hand down till your hand hits the, or head down till your hand hits the wall, and then you can look at the scoreboard. All in all, though, great race. Let's take a look at the metrics. We'll just watch this play through and check it out over here. Says about 5 seconds underwater to almost 13 meters. Okay, pretty solid underwater. Okay, now if we look at these next few fly lengths, okay, 3.5 seconds, 3.0 seconds, 2.98 seconds off the wall. Okay, he's spending a decent enough amount of time underwater on these. Pretty consistent tempo. You see this line is pretty flat here. Okay, that means that he's not all over the place. Okay, his fly tempo seemed to be 1.1 to 1.2 mostly on average. Okay, we take a look at these turn times though, and we talked about them earlier, 1.2, 1.3, 1.1. Ideally, we want to keep those turns under a second. Moving on to backstroke, and we talked about maybe a little bit quicker tempo. Average tempo on this first length of backstroke is 1.6. We're not really working backstroke at 1.6. It's going to require a lot of leg then if we're not spinning our arms. 1.7 here on this length. Okay, still around 3 seconds underwater off the wall. He was 2.8 on the first length. Okay, 3.0 off this second wall. Getting out 6 to 7 meters. Again, pretty consistent tempo. 1.6. Just a little on the slow end. I think we'd like to see probably closer to 1.4. 1.7 here on this length as he's going into this back to breast turn. This back to breast turn says 1.59 seconds. That's a lot of time on the wall, probably getting a breath, preparing to go, a good long pull out, which he did. I mean, he was underwater for almost 5 seconds on that, and almost 10 meters. Okay. So maybe we sacrifice a little bit of turn time for that. I think if we could get just as effective of a pull out out of it and be quicker in and out of that turn, it would be obviously more ideal. Breaststroke turns seem to be a little bit quicker than his fly turns. He was 1.0 that last one, 1.2 this one. Spending about 4.5 seconds underwater, which is about where we'd want to be on a pullout for a high school male. You can see he really lengthened out his stroke on this last length. 1.7 okay, is what the number shows as well here, which was his slowest breaststroke tempo of the race. In an ideal world, we're building breaststroke tempo as the race goes on. So every length would just a little bit quicker tempo-wise, but this seemed to work for him this day. Now, we talked about how he really cut his dolphin kick short on freestyle, and you can see his breakout time, 1.7 seconds, 1.9 seconds. He's not underwater very long, and he's not taking very many dolphin kicks. I think this is an area in which he might be able to improve a little bit. Dolphin kicking isn't exactly faster than freestyle, so it's not something that you need to spend a whole lot of time on unless you've got a really effective dolphin kick. But even if he's only going to go 5 yards off the wall, if we can get 3 dolphin kicks in those 5 yards instead of 1, he's gonna approach the surface with a little bit better velocity. Take a look at this turn time real quick here. There are 15 turns in a 400 IM, and we've talked a lot about how we want each turn to be 1 second or faster. Okay, his total turn time, 17.58 seconds. That's 2.5 seconds that we potentially could be faster without even necessarily having to increase effort. Right? It might tax the lungs just a little bit more, and it might indirectly increase effort. But if we can just get into the turn a little bit quicker and get off the wall on those open turns a little bit better, that's an easy way to pick up some time. Let's take a look at the table here real quick. Okay, it's a lot of info to look at. First glance, if we're just looking down this cycle column here, very consistent, right? 5, 7, 7, 7 on fly. Okay, makes sense. 6, 6, 6, 7 on back. One more cycle going into that back to breast turn. 6, 6, 6, 6 on breast. 8, 8, 8, 8 on free. Okay, very consistent. This is a swimmer who knows his stroke count. He's developed the ability to be consistent, and it's worked really well for him. Consistent split-wise as well. If we take a look at 50 splits, backstroke split 32.6, 32.7, breaststroke split 34.5, 35.3. We talked about how we'd like to see him maybe pick up his breaststroke tempo a little bit more that second 50. I think if he did that, he might be 34 high instead of 35 mid. Freestyle 29.3, 28.3. Okay, really nice hard charge on that last 50. But again, I think we want to focus a little bit more on pushing a few more kicks and getting to the surface with a little bit more velocity on those freestyle underwaters. So that's our analysis of the 400 IM. I hope you enjoyed it. If you saw anything that you would have included in this breakdown, please leave it in the comments, and we look forward to seeing you next time.